Good afternoon, and welcome to the Small Business Town Hall. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. This is Sabina Matos. I'm the Lieutenant Governor for the state of Rhode Island, and I'm here committed, as always, to support our small business community. I'm glad to follow on the first step of Governor McKee, who started this initiative to have this conversation with our small business live via Zoom every week. Right now, we're going to be doing this every other week, but in between, in the weeks in which I'm not doing it with you guys, Chris Parisi is going to be taking on having this conversation. So we're going to have a presence every week. There are a few things that I would like to point out. This is we're working on our first 100 days. Our first 100 days, the governor and I are planning on visiting every 39 cities and towns. So maybe coming to one of your businesses in a community near you. So expect on that. I have a few things that I wanted to make sure that we cover. One is to remind everyone that we are about 70% of vaccination right now of the population of the state of Rhode Island has received at least one dose of the vaccine. Today, we just had a press conference this morning in which we were taking a moment to pause and celebrate and reflect because we have passed the 1 million shots in arms already in the state of Rhode Island. So again, this is an opportunity to thank the team that has been working really hard to make this possible. The Department of Health, the National Guard. Oh my God, what an experience working with them. My hat is off to them for the work that they have been doing. And the governor's team that has been working really hard, leading it by Tony Silva. So I want to thank all of them for all the work they've been doing to make this possible. I want to mention something that's directly to the Providence residents. Just want you to make you aware that if you are a micro business, this is for micro businesses in Providence, the Providence Revolving Fund, it still has funds available. They still have $100,000 available for small business loans for micro businesses. The amounts can go from $500 to $5,000. So if you are a micro business in the Providence community, feel free to go to the Revolving Fund website, which is right here showing displayed, and you can apply. If you're a small business that have less than 10 employees, you have an individual that is making less than $250,000 in revenue, you're qualified. So make sure that you reach out to the Revolving Fund. So small business and micro businesses can apply for between $500 to $5,000 from Providence. We're also reaching out to all other communities to find out what resources they have available that is specific to their cities and town. So if you know of any resources that you would like for us to share with everyone, please let my office know. Send us an email and we'll make sure that we pass that information. The other thing that I wanted to is we're going to have our directors with here today, again, giving updates. We're going to have Mark Hayward, which is the director of the Small Business Administration from the office of the District Office of Rhode Island, Secretary Stephen Pryor from Commerce RI, Director Liz Tanner from the Business Regulation, and Director Matt Weldon from the Department of Labor and Training. And then we're going to be closing with, of course, the one and only Chris Parisi, who's going to give us an update from the business perspective. So with that, let's start the conversation going. And I want to welcome to start the conversation, Mark Hayward, to give us an update from the federal perspective. Hi, Mark.
Good afternoon, Governor. How are you today?
Good afternoon. So good to see you.
We got great news. First of all, as you well know, the Rhode Island District Office was really aggressive in doing the restaurant revitalization seminars to get our Rhode Island restaurants ready to apply. As you know, the first 21 days by law is for those who are economically and socially disadvantaged. So basically, those who would be eligible under the 8A program for women and for veterans. And the program, Governor, is $28.6 billion. And over the first week, 186,000 restaurants nationwide applied for the program. So I'm very pleased to say that 3 of my employees are behind the scenes. They are now going through the approval process. And during the first week, the agency approved over 16,000 restaurant revitalization fund awards. And that was for approximately $2 billion. So there's still money there. There are 2 more weeks with this primary group. And I'm really pleased to say, Governor, that, just looking through our systems, and it's not exact, but I can see certain things in our systems. Approximately 50 loans were approved here in Rhode Island for almost $7 million. And, I'm really appreciative of that. And I'm sure that the agency is going to be notifying those individuals. As we go through this process, there will be more and more restaurants that will be getting their restaurant revitalization funds, which is so desperately needed for the continuation of operations. The other thing I wanted to talk about, Governor, was the PPP program. While we have expended all funds for participating lenders, there are still, I think there's approximately $6 or $7 billion, which is available through CDFIs. So we do not have any community development financial institutions here in Rhode Island. However, that does not mean that you cannot apply. Andreas, which is the successor organization of Action, does have a CDFI. They are providing additional PPP loans, Governor, for those who are looking for PPP loans. So I would suggest, Ben, if you can pop our email address up on the screen, if you're in need of a PPP loan and you will be eligible based upon your location for CDFIs, write us an email, and we're more than happy to put you in touch with the group out of New York. And I do know for a fact, Governor, that they continue to very aggressively do loans. The other thing I want to talk about is the employee retention tax credit, because a lot of people have, and I know I've talked to Liz about this a couple of times, so she's aware of it too. But I don't think employers are really tuned into how this can be a benefit to them, because they could be eligible for a 2021 employee retention tax credit up to $28,000 per employee. We have flyers. It's put out by the Department of Treasury, but again, if they're looking for information about the employee retention tax credit, they can send us an email at Rhode Island _DO@SBA.gov, and we will provide them the information. All is good, Governor. We still have the idle advances that we're working on. People are being invited back into the portal to go from 150,000 to 500,000. The idle advances for those who did not get the 10,000, they're being invited back in to go from the 1,000 or 5,000 to the 10,000. We had a discussion with Washington yesterday, and I think this is all working slowly but surely. But the bottom line is we're going to have almost $4 billion on the street to Rhode Island small businesses. So that's really important. And we're continuing to, try to hit home runs. Sometimes we hit singles and doubles, but we're going to continue to work on behalf of the Rhode Island small business community. And we thank you for your efforts of putting this on every other Tuesday, because it really does give people an opportunity to vent. Plus, trust me, I've heard a lot of venting, and I'm sure you have too.
It's feedback. I like to call it feedback.
Feedback. And then, but it gives us an opportunity to just have a dialogue. And right. We have, at some point in time, there is this one person who has a daycare center, Governor. She had all kinds of problems, and we rolled up our sleeves with one of the banks, and we got her approved the day before PPP closed. I'd love to have her on this and let her tell her story, because she's serving children and parents, and I just think it's just such a wonderful opportunity. And you and I will talk offline about this, but I, just thinking about, she said to me, Mark, I want to tell my story.
I would love
And
to hear her.
and I think it would be really great if we could do it on this session.
Oh, so we're gonna make sure that Billy reach out so we can get in contact with her, because I
Yes.
want to hear her story. Mark, a quick question for the employee retention. Is there a limit on the size of the company? Is this open to anybody, any number of employees?
Yeah, it's open to up to 500 employees, which is basically the SBA size standard for small business. And remember, when you look at Rhode Island, approximately 98.9% of all businesses here in Rhode Island are small by SBA standards. So yeah, 500 employees or less, Governor.
So, there is a limit on the minimum number of employee. What is it? One employee? Two? Is there a limit?
It did not say, and I've gone through the flyer a couple of times. It doesn't say a limit of up to $28,000 per year for each employee. If the amount of the tax credit for the employee is more than the amount of the employer's share, then the payroll taxes owed for a given quarter, the excess is refunded and paid directly to them. So there are a lot of elements to this particular program, Governor. Yeah. I just think, look at it. You have nothing to lose. Talk to your CPAs, talk to your bookkeepers, talk to your accountants, and you have nothing to lose by having that discussion. A lot of employers kept their people. This is aside from PPP. A lot of employers kept their people on the payroll and did their best to continue the benefits and everything else. If this is an advantage that they can take, Governor, then they should take it.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the good news you provided us today. I love good news. So
I don't like
to start with you,
Governor.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the fact.
I said I don't like to deliver bad news.
You're my kind of people. Thank you so much, Director. Thank you for being here. And we're going to be going now over to Secretary of Commerce. Is Pryor. Is the Secretary? Yes, he's here. So good to see you.
Lieutenant Governor Matos, nice to see you once again. It was great to be with you this morning.
Wasn't this morning great? We were able to celebrate such a big milestone.
Such a big milestone. And I want to congratulate again Governor McKee, yourself, Lieutenant Governor, as well as Tony Silva, Dr. Alexander Scott, General Callahan, and Tom McCarthy, and the entire RIDO team and the National Guard team. Just amazing work to get to 1 million doses. And frankly, as the commerce guy, I'm so proud of the fact that we've been able to reopen accordingly. The reason that we've had a major reopening this past weekend and that we're looking forward to an even bigger reopening May 28th is because of the success of this vaccination effort. So once again, thank you to the governor and to you, Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you for everything that you have done to keep our business community moving forward. It has been a challenging year for all of us, but you and your team has been doing everything possible nonstop to make sure that our small business can get back on their feet. So thank you, Secretary.
Thank you. And I really thank you so much. And I really am proud of our entire team under Governor McKee that we are leading the way in the region, in New England now, with our reopening last weekend and throughout this week when businesses are deciding to go to 80% capacity and 3-foot spacing. We're leading the region again on reopening, just as we did earlier in the pandemic when we were ready to stay open, ready to reopen, and we never closed manufacturing, we never closed construction. So, and all of this has helped to keep us afloat. We have a long way to go, but we're working intensively. Speaking of helping businesses stay afloat, one of the things that Governor McKee has debuted, of course, is the Small Business Relief Grant Program, the $5,000 grant program. And with your permission, Lieutenant Governor, I just want to provide an update on that and an important notation, an important call to businesses who have applied. So first of all, I'm pleased to report that we are moving 2,000 applications to payment. So over 2,000 businesses are on their way to payment. What that means is that those businesses have to sign a little bit of paperwork. It's basically an agreement, and have to get their checks. These things are important so that we are staying in accordance with the law and we're avoiding fraud. So that is the last step. The step that you take when you sign your documentation is called Docusign. And I want to put a quick notice out to those 2,000 businesses that have already been notified or are in the process of being notified, and those thousands more who are going to soon, Lieutenant Governor. If you're in the final paperwork stage, you're going to get 2 emails to complete your final grant paperwork. If you've already gotten your Docusign paperwork, we ask that you review the Docusign FAQ, the frequently asked questions. It's on the commerceri.com website. And it's you'll find it at commerceri.com/relief grant in particular, but you can just go to our regular website and click on the relief grant. The FAQ on Docusign will walk you through information that will help expedite the payment processing. And let me talk about a couple of things here, just for those businesses out there that have applied and have gotten these emails or are expecting them. Make sure that on the W-9 form, the tax form W-9, and on the grant agreement, you use the correct business name.
Okay.
Please type out the correct business or entity name. Don't try to improvise or use a name that you sometimes use casually, a DBA. Use the correct business or entity name and use your mailing address. Even if you have a different storefront location or another physical location, the place where you get your mail is what you want to put on your W-9 and have it the same address on your grant agreement. And that is where we're going to mail your check, because it's a physical check. We're going to mail it to you. Those things are important because it will slow you down a little bit if the processors, if our staff and the processing staff have to look up, is that address the right address? Or could this maybe be a fraudulent business that's faking it and using a different address with the same business name? Yeah. If you use the same address across all of them, it helps us enormously. And we need you to use the correct business name, the correct entity name, and the mailing address on there. If you have not yet received your Docusign email, we ask you to check out the Docusign FAQs so you know how to spot them. You know who they're coming from. It'll tell you a little bit more that'll explain it. But so much is underway, Lieutenant Governor. 2,000 businesses are getting their checks or are on the way to getting their checks as we speak. So that's exciting. And we want to thank Governor McKee. The Division of Taxation has been doing an enormous job here. Brave River, our local tech company that developed the site for this, the Small Business Coalition, including Chris Parisi, who's been with us every step of the way, advocating, designing, helping us get feedback as we go. Just so grateful. And I want to thank Kara Kunst from our team, Chris Kanata from our team, the 521 helpline team. 521 help is available to you as a number to call. So if you listen to me and you didn't quite follow, what should you do? Check out commerceri.com or call that helpline 521 help. And we're so excited to be getting that dose of relief, $5,000 to individual businesses out on the street, out to our businesses. Lieutenant Governor, thank you again for creating this forum and for all that you do.
Thank you, Secretary, for all that important information. So just a summary, you're going to be getting an email if you applied. There's going to be 2 emails. Be on the lookout for those. If you didn't get it, make sure you check your spam folder. Sometimes they get stuck in there. So make sure you check on that. If no, you can call 521 help and we're going to help you find that email. So thank you so much, Secretary.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you.
Likewise.
So next, we're going to go with the Director of Business Regulation, Director Liz Tanner. Ben, you have Director Tanner. Hi, Director. So good to see you.
Hello there. Good to see you as well.
So tell us what news you have for us this week.
So I have a little bit of a different subject this week. As we start to unwind the entire enforcement operations, we are still out doing inspections. We're still taking complaints and listening to what people care about. Because again, we're trying to build this consumer confidence, right? We want people to feel safe and comfortable going back out to eat and shopping and whatever else it might be. But I'm here today to talk about vaccination clinics and the ability to have them at your business or some other options. So the information that we have today is that there are 3 options for businesses. And it looks like Ben's trying to pull this up on the screen. It's a little small, Ben, if you can pull it up a little louder, a little bigger. But first, there's an option to have a vaccination clinic at your place of business. So if you can target at least 50 persons, that's kind of what we're shooting for. It doesn't have to be 50, but it needed to be sort of worth the trip kind of thing. But they're targeting at least 50 people. If you want to have a clinic at your place of business, you can collect this form, and we'll put it into the chat box somewhere that you can click on the form. It's a community partner form. The second choice is to have a vaccination clinic at your location, right? So maybe an office park, or maybe it's at your business, but you want to invite a bunch of other places, people to come. And this clinic can be obviously for your employees, but it can also be for everyone else in the facility. It can be for your customers if you want to have it at, say, a grocery store or something, but it can also be for your family members, right? So it doesn't have to just be the employees. It can be for anyone, right? Because again, we're trying to target as many folks as we can. And then the third choice is to set aside some time at a current vaccination clinic for your employees. So depending on what your work schedule is, maybe you want to do something from 6 to 9 o'clock at night, or maybe you need to do Saturday morning, 9 to 12 o'clock in the morning. Whatever works for your situation, you can reach out to this gentleman right here, Paul Kiekafer, and he will arrange so that you can have all of your employees come in at the same time, or you can have special time slots for them, whatever it might be that works best for your scenario. But we're really excited to finally be able to talk about this flip side of this, right? To be able to finally say, here's an opportunity for a vaccination clinic. And what we found, what we're hearing is that your employees, they work all day, right? And when they're done with work, they usually either have some sort of family obligation, or sometimes they have 2 jobs, and they don't have the ability to necessarily drive their cars if they don't even have that kind of transportation, or they struggle with public transportation to get to a place. So we highly encourage businesses to encourage your employees to get a vaccination. Ideally, you can try to give them some time off to do so, to get the vaccination. And if you have the ability to do so, it would be great if you could have one at your location or in your area, so try to have a group of you all getting together. We all want these employees to come back to work and feel safe. And the more people we get vaccinated, the more we can get back to normal. So all that information will be available to you. If you have not been able to get what you need, you should feel free to jump on the DBR website or call the hotline, and they can give all that information to you. Or you can put something in the comment box, and I'm more than happy to respond to everyone right now and get that information out. So super exciting to be able to announce this for all businesses, and really hope that as many of you as possible take advantage of it. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share that really important information.
Thank you, Director. This is great information. If you work in a factory, if you work at a place that have more than 50 employees, and you would like to have the vaccine to be administrator right in your place of business, make sure that you reach out to us. The Director Tanner just provided us with information about how to make that happen. All of us need to be very active in making sure that we can get as many vaccines in arms as possible. And now, just got approved, we're going to be doing the vaccination for children's 12 to 15. So make sure that if you have family members that can qualify between the ages of 12 and 15. There's going to be information coming out this afternoon about how they can be registered for the vaccine. So help us out. We need to get everyone vaccinated so we can reopen fully and without any worries about having to roll back the rules. We don't want to be there. So let's continue to get those vaccines out. So thank you so much, Director Tanner, for this information.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Ben, I haven't been checking with you to see if we have questions. I'm sorry. I just been moving along.
No worries. I would have inserted myself if there was anything pressing for those for those directors that we had on. I do want to say that there are some general questions about overall help that people have asked about, and the easiest way to get that information and get the specific information about a specific question, which Matt Weldon always says, who's coming up in a second, is to email the email that's scrolling at the bottom, Billy at your office, the Lieutenant Governor's
Billy
office.
Kepner. there. Yes.
Has been wonderful, and will put you in contact with whoever you need to be in contact with to get everything sorted out for your individual situation if it's a long one. So that is good, Chris. I'm seeing what you're saying, and we will ask that in a second. So let's bring on Matt Weldon.
Director Weldon, Director of the Department of Labels and Training. Hello, Director. How are you doing?
I'm great, Governor. How are you?
Good. I've been so looking forward to today because we already were getting questions on Twitter. And so I want to know, tell me how things are going and what are the answers that we have for those questions.
Sure, absolutely. We continue to be busy. That's no surprise. I've said that every time we've been on for the last year. And things are going pretty well. Right now, the topics of the hour really are how do we get people back to work in a way that's safe, to work that is suitable and is ready to accept them. And so we're doing a couple of things. First of all, the governor announced last week that the work search requirement for unemployment will be reinstated effective May 23rd. So that's coming up, and we're going to see DLT do a bunch of press around that. We'll be doing some communications directly to claimants through email and other means, and also through social media and more traditional media. We need to let everybody know that unemployment is a program that provides.
So I'm back here. I'm going to check with Ben. It looks like, all right, Matt is back. Okay.
Yep. Your internet just went out for a second, Lieutenant Governor.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Unemployment has always been a program that provides income support to people when they become separated from the labor market. So these are people that had work who then found themselves out of work due to no fault of their own. One of the requirements of people on unemployment has always been to look for work. In fact, they've been required to be able to work, available for work, and then actively seek work. During the pandemic, that was suspended for good reason. We couldn't require people to go look for work when large sections of the economy had been closed by the government out of an abundance of caution because of what we were dealing with in the pandemic. Now, because we're doing so well, it's safe to return to work. Every adult in Rhode Island can get vaccinated. And we just talked about how we can get even more people vaccinated. It's time now, and on May 23rd, we're going to start requiring that people maintain a record of their search for work. What does that mean? It means they should write down, and there will be forms on our website they can use if they'd like to, but they should write down, where did they look for work? Where did they apply? When was it? Who did they talk to? Basic things like that. And then DLT will review some of those requests when we request them. So what will happen is I have a team of folks who will contact the claimant and say, we'd like to see your work search forms. Tell us about how it's going. If you can't produce a work search record, then you will potentially be denied unemployment benefits. That's because it's a requirement to look for work. What about people on pandemic unemployment? This is the question that came in to you, Governor, on Twitter. There are all sorts of different people on pandemic unemployment. Some of those people own their own businesses prior to the pandemic, still own those businesses, but maybe they're not open yet, or maybe they're not able to take a paycheck. For those folks, how do they conduct a work search? What they would need to do is really in the lines of business development. And so what we mean by that is if you own a small business, every week you should be doing things to either get your business back up and running or expand your footprint or increase business so you can start drawing a paycheck soon. Everything you would have been doing before, and document it. And we don't need encyclopedia of everything you've done. We need a very basic summary. I went on LinkedIn and I did X, Y, and Z. I went on another site and I pursued some business contacts, things like that. This is not a punitive measure. We are not trying to punish people for being on unemployment. What we're doing is saying, folks, it's time to get back into the market. It's time to get back to work. And the federal programs have an expiration date right now of September 4th. We don't know that those programs are going to be extended any further. If that happens, a lot of people on unemployment will no longer have unemployment available to them or pandemic unemployment available. So right now we need to get people engaged with the economy, and it's the best time to do it. We have a lot of resources available at DLT. If you go to backtoworkri.com, you can find some resources. And I know our other state partners have given out their information, and Governor, your information scrolls at the bottom of the screen every 10 seconds or so. People go and seek the information that you need, ask the questions that you need to ask. We're here to help. The other part, Governor, is with your leadership and Governor McKee's leadership and Senator Mary Ellen Goodwin and Representative Carol McEntee, we worked on legislation that would let people that are collecting unemployment earn some more money, and still stay connected to unemployment while they search for full-time work. So what does that mean? Right now, if you're on a partial unemployment claim, you're reporting your income to us every week. And if you earn less than your benefit rate, you get a small unemployment payment plus whatever the federal bonus is, which we know is $300 right now. In the future, if our bill passes, which we think it will pass this week, then you'd be able to earn up to 1.5 times your weekly benefit amount before you're shut off from unemployment. And we're going to let you keep half of it, of your weekly benefit amount without any penalty. So what this means is you can earn more while working, keep more of what you earn, stay connected to the $300 from the feds, and work. We need you to get back to work, and this should prove to be an incentive for some folks. I'm happy to take questions, Governor.
But I have a question. So I have been promoting the Warshare. I think I'm your biggest promoter, the Warshare program. But I got asked the question, what's the difference between the Warshare program and the new legislation that's being worked on right now? What's the difference between the two things? Is that something that you can answer now, or we can plan for next week?
When employers have people on payroll now and they need to reduce hours, they can go on to Workshare. And what that means is you can put people on basically partial unemployment, and the federal government is picking up the cost of that right now until September, but you can maintain your staff. Those people, if they're on Workshare, wouldn't have to be looking for other jobs because they have a job, they're connected to their employer, they just at that time have reduced hours. So basically they're getting partial pay from their job, they're getting partial pay from unemployment, and they get the federal money. For people that don't have a job right now, those people can, if they go back and go part-time at another employer, they may just be a partial unemployment claim, and it may not be a Workshare plan. The biggest difference is a Workshare program is a plan that's attached to an employer. So they have employees, they create a plan, and within that plan, they help those employees get by while they're facing a downturn in the economy. Other partial unemployment is just for anybody who's earning less than their benefit amount, or in the future, less than 1.5 times their benefit amount. They can still get some kind of a payment out of unemployment.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Director. Ben, do you have any questions for the Director?
I do. Hello, Director.
Hey, Bill.
Number one question: do you have people looking for work? How can I have access to those people if you have them? Do you have any sort of database of people that are searching?
Of course. People, if you're an employer, go to backtoworkri.com and see what resources are available. Our state job bank is called EmployRI, and it's employri.org. Or you can go to dlt.ri.gov and you can find all those web resources.
Okay. We are going back on Workshare this Sunday. They say we need to file again. Is this a refile of our old claim, or do we start a new one?
If you're going back on Workshare and your plan expired, you need to submit a new plan.
Okay.
And there's information on how to do that online.
Let's see. Hello, Director Weldon. We are happy to see that we'll be requiring people to reinstate the work search. Many of the wedding and event industry needs for staffing for our season really kick off on Memorial Day. In other aspects, photographers, DJs, and others, where can we find info in writing that you just mentioned? I have many asking for this.
So you should be checking our website every day, and we're going to release new and updated information daily. We're going to have that information available in English and Spanish. Go ahead and check on dlt.ri.gov, and every single day you'll see something new pop up.
And final question, I believe, what are businesses to do when their products are not available? So I believe that this question is about the pool industry. There were the fire at a plant in Louisiana. Things are, you don't have the ability because of manufacturing in other parts of the country to sort of reinstate your business at the moment.
I think you can conduct business development activities without necessarily having your business be open. And if you're collecting pandemic unemployment, you can do that without a problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Matt, for that information. I want to ask Michelle to follow up with Billy with more details. If you can be more specific about your question, we want to answer that question fully. So please email Billy Kepner in my office, and we're going to get you that information. So finally, we have with us Chris Parisi. Chris is going to give us information. He's the person that is directly listening to every day.
I think we might have lost you, Lieutenant Governor. So
I'm sure she'll be back in a second, Chris.
All right. But welcome, everybody. First off, I want to say, wow, 1 million vaccinations. I mean, this is really huge for us. Hello, Lieutenant Governor. I think we might have lost you for a second with the internet, but you're back. And I was just talking about how great it is to have that 1 million vaccination. I mean, this really helps open up our economy. That's the best way to help our small businesses, is to shop local and to lift the restrictions, open the economy. So we appreciate what the governor's doing and his team, led by Tony Silver, General Callahan, everyone at DOH and National Guard. I mean, it's really impressive of what this state has done in terms of the vaccination efforts that led to our state opening up, I believe, May 28th. And also hats off to you, Lieutenant Governor, continuing the focus for small businesses out of your office. I mean, your team has been with us listening, getting questions answered from other state agencies. And what you're doing is really important, visiting those small businesses in all 39 towns and cities in your first 100 days. That's quite a task to do.
I was telling Billy, I'm going to be eating my way through Rhode Island. So if you guys see a few extra pounds after.
It's worth it because you're helping the local economy as well. So we appreciate that. But what you're doing is really important. Whenever we talk to you, Lieutenant Governor, and we talk about an issue, you bring up a specific small business that you spoke to directly that related to that. So, relating to those small businesses and having your ears to the ground is really important. So we appreciate what you're doing there. So I want to talk about a few things, and one is what Director Weldon was just talking about. It's what we call the hiring crisis. So this is a very highly discussed issue. We hold biweekly meetings with our Rhode Island Small Business Coalition members, and we discuss top topics. This was the issue number one, and it was a very divisive, so to speak. There was no consensus with this issue. This is a national issue that's going on in all the states, and we are one state that is trying to actually propose a solution. And this solution may not be perfect, but it's a solution that can help some small businesses, get people back into the workforce. So we appreciate Director Weldon, putting his thinking cap on, as he always does, working with the leaders in the Senate and the House, and the General Assembly passing, hopefully, this bill. And it's, we as the coalition, it's not perfect, but what I tell our members is, okay, well, what other solutions do you have? And this is probably the best solution that we're working with, but we're also going to do an educational campaign to bring that pride to Rhode Islanders. And, when we get back to work, we help our economy going, but it's much more than the economy. It's about our lifestyle. We need to keep these businesses going so that we can order that pizza, or we can go out to that restaurant. We can get the services that we enjoy, because, it's the people that make our state running, and without us going into the workforce, it doesn't allow us to enjoy this great state. So that's an issue that we would like to talk more about. So as you mentioned, the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition is going to hold a live broadcast every other Tuesday at 12 p.m. So no matter what, Tuesday at 12 p.m., there will be a program for you small businesses, whether it's through the Lieutenant Governor's office or through the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition. And we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to focus on one issue that focuses with one elected official or government official, and maybe around 30 minutes or so that we can be really focused and really delve a little bit deeper. For instance, I know I'm calling out Director Matt Weldon publicly here, but if he's available next week, this is an issue that definitely deserves more than 5 minutes of airtime. There's a lot going on when it comes to the hiring crisis, unemployment, Warshare program, everything that the DLT is doing, working so tirelessly for Rhode Islanders. there's a lot of questions people have. So to have a focused conversation that is on one issue or one department, we feel will be great for small businesses. So we'll be starting that up next week. And you could like our Facebook page, as Ben has right on, /RI Small Business. And then we'll broadcast that event along with the Lieutenant Governor's office to make sure that you're aware. You can log on and you can submit your questions, and then Ben will post them up as well. So that's all I got. And then the other thing we keep hearing about is the masks and the mandates, and well, why is one industry getting certain, restrictions lifted versus other industries, for instance, like yoga and gym. So that's something that, we'll be talking, with the great Liz Tanner, director, at DBR and other folks, Secretary Pryor, to really understand how we can help support our small businesses for all the industries as well.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you. This just makes perfect sense to take every other week and go deeper with one of the directors to get more details about the information, the proposals that they're providing. So this is a good solution. So I want to thank you for your leadership on making this happen. And even on those weeks in which I'm now conducting the event, someone from my office will always be available. So we're always going to be in contact every other week. And feel free to send us any information, any questions. Billy keeps sharing his email in the chat. Make sure you send us that email with your questions. So Chris, with that, I just want to say thank you for everything that you're doing, for keeping the energy alive and keeping us moving forward and keeping us engaged. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I'm recruiting more businesses. I keep telling them they have to join your coalition. So you're going to be getting more businesses that are going to be coming over. Okay.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. So with that, Ben, I just want to say thank you for your help on making this happen. Thank you for all of you that joined us today with this important information. Remember, again, today we just marked the over a million shot in arms that have taken place already here in the state of Rhode Island. Big news is that we're going to be able to vaccinate also children from 12 to 15. So make sure to get your children's registered to receive the vaccine. And again, thank you for everything you are doing to make sure that our economy get back to about where we were, or even before, even better than when we were before the pandemic. So remember, go to vaccinate.ri.org to find a location in which you can go either register for a vaccine or you can do a walk-in. There's no excuses. I have heard some individuals talking about, well, but the 2 vaccines, you can do the 1 shot also. So we have enough vaccine available right now that you can choose whether you want the 2 shots or you want the 1 shot. So with that, I just want to say thank you for all of you that turn in and we're watching, and we're going to be back here in 2 weeks. And in between, Chris Parisi is going to be with you. And looks like the first person that is going to be with him next week is going to be Director Matt Wellman. So take care.